Start spreading the news.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
New York, I love you. I love New York.
Rose trying to get open, fires away. Bang! It's over! The Bulls win at the buzzer! Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James! LeBron James with the rejection. Puts up the three. Won't go. Rebound Bosh. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang!
What's going on, people? Welcome to another episode of Off the Ball podcast with me, your host, Chris LeBron. I'm back. I haven't done an NBA show in a minute. I'm glad to be back. Work's been busy and all that, but we back better than ever. Very excited to get back, on the mic, put the headset on, and get ready to talk some ball. But first, I got a few things I want to talk about, before we get into everything in the NBA. Got a few projects that I'm working on, some really dope projects. I won't be doing like straight NBA, in season talk and all that. Going to work on some few different, projects. Got something with Omar, my guy Omar, who writes for the Off the Ball Network and all that. I already write some dope articles on some what ifs, and we're going to work on, episode 1 today. We're going to talk about what if Shaq never left Orlando. We're going to go into detail, kind of timeline everything, and kind of project what would have happened if he stayed. What's the landscape of the Eastern Conference? What do the Lakers look like? Is Kobe Bryant? He probably is, but we'll get into all that stuff. So that's a cool project. And then some other what ifs, players wise, guys who, I'm working on a series with players as far as, guys who look like they were going to be something and then didn't turn out. So we'll get into that and all that. And then go back to my what if, another the best that never was series with teams I did, I did like a year and a half ago, going to get back to doing that. Got some teams, lined up for this season. So excited about these projects. But, this is going to kind of just be, try to do this Sunday morning before football season. As we know, football season is coming to an end. We got college football, which we'll be going live to right after this, right after the college football playoff selection at noon. Get into that because a lot of crazy is going on in college football. And we'll be, I'll be doing this every Sunday mornings every week for the rest of the college basketball season for the Off the Ball Network. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're closing in on 500 subscribers. We're 40 away. Please help us get there. Help, before the new year. That's definitely a goal of mine, to get to 500 subscribers. Like, comment, go to offtheballnetwork.com. Go support us. All the links are below in the comment section. So let's get right into it. It is what we're approaching, NBA in-season tournament. We are in the quarterfinals. I believe it's the quarterfinals, and my New York Knicks are in it. We take on the Milwaukee Bucks Tuesday, I believe. So very excited about that. Before we get into that, just want to talk about some teams that are, on the up and some teams that are on the down. And some of the teams that are up, the Orlando Magic. Let's talk about Orlando. I've been waiting for this for a while for the Orlando Magic. They have been on a roll, 14-6 this season. 9-2 at home, playing really, really good basketball. Jalen Suggs has just been a defensive menace. Paolo got off to a little bit of a slow start this season, shooting the ball, but he's really come off late, especially this month of November. He has really looked like the guy who I believe is going to be an all-star this season. Franz Wagner, he might join him in the all-star game. I always say coming out, when Franz was coming out, Michigan, I think I had him in the 20s, like 20, 21, I believe, in that maybe 20, 25 range. I don't know exactly, but it was in that 20s range. And it wasn't that I didn't think he was going to be a good player. I knew he was going to be a good player. I just didn't know the ceiling. I didn't know that there was going to be a level that he could be a borderline all-star. Let's just keep it frank. I didn't see that at all. Man, he's looking really good. He's looking really good so far. Big reason why they're on that. I mean, he definitely has a level to his game that I didn't see. I definitely didn't see, and that's definitely a big reason why this. And they're doing this without Wendell Carter. Wendell Carter had messed up his finger. I wasn't watching that game. I think a dislocation or broken finger or something like that at the end of end of the first half, I believe. I forgot who they're playing. I remember watching that, and I think that was a tough loss because they didn't, they don't have a lot of size and all that, but they're doing fine, and just wait till and so. Paolo stepping up, Franz stepping up, Jalen Suggs playing great defense and all that, doing this without Wendell and Markel Fultz and all that, but they have just been on a tear. And I don't know if this is going to continue, but they're going to be a playoff team. Orlando Magic are going to be a playoff team. Now, like I said, I don't know if they're going to be a top 2 seed. Right now they're sitting second place right now. I don't know if they get to sustain that, because especially they're a team that like a lot of young teams at home, they do their damage on the road. I mean, 5-4 on the road right now is not bad for a very, very young team, but I definitely expect them to come back a little bit down to earth. But I definitely do think that they're a playoff team and all that. But the defense has been the biggest thing. We knew they had guys who could do it on offense, but it's the defense that's definitely been there. They have really, third best defense, points per game in the Eastern Conference. I think they're top 5, top 7 overall. In the NBA and all that. And like I said, that has a lot to do with Jalen Suggs and all. And it's crazy, people. And unfortunately, this is what happens in especially in basketball. We give up on guys way. I mean, I'm seeing people giving up on guys already, rookies being given up already. And Jalen Suggs was definitely someone that I saw people giving up on. And it never made sense. And I knew he may not ever be like a 20-point per game guy. But I mean, you saw it at Gonzaga, what he was able to do on both ends on the floor and all that, and especially defensively, and I told people, don't give up on him, and don't give up on him. There's a reason why he was a top 5 pick and all that. And this team was, he dealt with injuries, and like they had a kind of a logjam at the guard position. Let's be Cole Anthony, Markel, so they kind of had a little bit of a logjam, and it just feels like they finally have found their niche. They finally found what works. Cole coming off the bench, he's a 6th man of the year guy. He's absolutely lighting it up and all that. But they figured out, what's working for them and all that. And it's definitely it's shown. It's definitely shown and all that. And you got to give a lot of credit to the development of this team and all that. It's been fun to watch the Orlando Magic. It's been a lot of fun to watch his team play. Jamal Mosley has done a hell of a job. He's definitely going to be in the running for coach of the year and all that. He's done a superb job and all that, and getting this team, Jonathan Isaac coming back, has been good. Anthony Black, they're their top pick and all that. Defensively, they got guys who can lock up. They got a lot of length on their team. They have the pieces to scare some teams potentially, and it could be the slow. This could be the start of something real special, Orlando, and maybe they can finally keep their team, together. Like we've seen, especially the Dwight Shaq days, things go away, but they got something special going on in here, and I really like this team going back to last year. Even when they had that tough stretch and begin to start the season, they've built off that stretch where I think they started like 4-12, some crazy start. It was like 4-16, whatever. And then they build off that momentum ever since that tough early season start. So last year, wanted to give a shout out to Orlando Magic. They're playing really good basketball. And then, and it seems like they're heading in the right place, which is really good because, seeing the Magic being good, I don't know, just feels right. It feels good when the Orlando Magic are playing good basketball because they obviously got some of the best jerseys in the game and all that. But another team that I was high on, this season coming in is the Indiana Pacers, and obviously Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, you know me, if you follow me on social media at Off the Ball Pod, you know how much I love Tyrese Halliburton. I'm a big Tyrese Halliburton guy. To me, he's already established as one of the better point guards in the NBA. Probably gonna be definitely gonna be an all-star again. He might be an all NBA player this year. He's playing just absolutely tremendous basketball. They're just lighting it. I didn't see the scoring. They are they are scoring at a tremendous clip right now. It is. I didn't see this offense being this good. They are absolutely just terrorizing. Team. They're top five in 3-point percent. I think they're top five in 3-point percentage if I recall, or like six or something like that in 3-point percentage. They're just lighting it up. And this is with like Matherin, who I expected to take a massive leap. Still trying to figure things out. He hasn't taken that leap that we all expected to, and kind of struggling a little bit, and his minutes have definitely been kind of up and down and all that. But he it seems like he's been playing better ball of late and all that. But definitely, I expect him to be better, as the season goes on. But they added Obi Toppin from my New York Knicks and all that. And then I always said Obi, it just never was it just never was a fit with the Knicks. Just never was a fit. And that was disappointing. That was disappointing because you saw the talent and all that, but it was never going to work, especially with the system, especially when you added Brunson and obviously Julius Randle playing his position. Guys are really high so heavy. It's not a lot of ball movement on this Knicks team, throughout the years. It just wasn't going to work out. And him going to Indiana, where you have Tyrese Halliburton, who is essentially, even though he's averaged 27 a game this year, this is a pass first, point guard average. He leads the league in assists at like 11 a pop. I said, yeah, he's gonna thrive there, or at least be a lot better. And he's definitely been a lot better. And this it fits here. They play fast. He has a point guard that's going to be able to find him and all that. And even a guy like Bruce Brown, who's a great, secondary facilitator, is going to be so. This team is in a good spot. This team is, defensively, they're kind of food, even they kind of food on defense and all that. They're definitely not a great defensive team, but offensively they're lighting it up this year. Offensively, they are just absolutely. There's some games have been in 140s and all that. 128 points they're averaging a game. I don't. That's 5 points better than the Hawks were the second. And any team out west, the leading scoring team out west is the Thunder at like 118, 119, and that's like 10 points, almost 10 points more than that. But they're giving up a lot of points defensively. They as much as they're scoring, they can't stop no one. They number one scoring, last in points per game. So they got to figure that out. Obviously Buddy Hield has been up and down and all that. So maybe there's something they could do at the deadline. Someone up to try to fix that defense, because that definitely, obviously when you had Obi Toppin's not going to stop anyone on defense. Even though you got Miles Turner and all that, he's one guy. So they definitely got to shore up that defense, because it could cost them. They've lost a lot of games because their defense is very shaky. So hopefully they bounce back. But the Indiana Pacers have looked good so far. Overall, I thought they would definitely figure it out this year, and it definitely seems like they're figuring out. The New York Knicks, 12-7, playing good basketball. I know the talks with the Knicks is like, all right, they're at a ceiling. They're going to be a second. I get it. But they're a really good team. I think they're just a really good team and all that. And yeah, they're beating on a lot of the bad teams and all that. And, but they're just a good team. Julius Randle has really, he had a horrific first 6 games where he was shooting in the 20s and all that, and people trying to trade him for a bacon, egg, and cheese and all that. But he's definitely improved, and we need Julius Randle to do his thing. We need him for this team to potentially make a run. I know people don't want to hear it, but We need Julius Randle to do his thing. RJ Barrett was off to a hot start. Then he got hurt, had the migraine issues and all that. And it seems like he's tailed off a little bit and all that. But, they're going to need him to step up and all that. Dante, the Villanova boys have been really good. The Villanova crew been really good. Dante has been a tremendous plus coming off the bench. It's been fun seeing him and all that. Josh Hart is going to do Josh Hart things and going to rebound the basketball, hit some big time threes, and complain to the refs every percent. I've never seen a man complain to the refs that is not a superstar or all-star level player the way Josh Hart has. But he goes out there, he plays 1,010%, and that's gonna go a long way in New York when you do that. I think one of the more disappointing things is Quentin Grimes. I think Quentin Grimes is definitely it's been disappointing. Knicks fans, we gotta stop just giving up on. I know it's frustrating to see him because he's not scoring at the clip we want him to, but he is playing solid defense and all that, and I know that's not sexy and all that because he's not shooting the ball well, but that's gonna come around. Just let's not get rid of him and all that. Let's I like Quentin Grimes. I think he is a good player and all that, but maybe we got to put him off the bench and all that. Maybe he works for IQ better. It's something we might think about because Dante, but I kind of like Dante coming off the bench though. I kind of think he gives us Hart. They give us that juice off the bench. I kind of like that. I kind of like the way they're going right now. I wouldn't want to change it up too much, but I digress. I wouldn't be mad if they make a change and all that. But don't give up on Quentin. Don't give up on Quentin Grimes yet, Knicks fans. He's a talented player. Maybe he's not Allen Houston like some of you guys I saw. Trust me, a lot of y'all said he was going to be Allen Houston. Try to pump the brakes on down, but he is a good player and he's going to be key for this team going forward. So he'll get it together. Mitchell Robinson, the best offensive rebounder in the NBA, he has been clutch. Just some big games on the rebound side. He's healthy too, which is good. So really happy to see his progress. It doesn't seem like he has to stone hands as much and all that. Still some moments, but it's not as just dropping in some and it's just going to fumble the bag. He's definitely working on his hand-eye coordination and all that, and so that's been good to see with that. And obviously, Jalen Brunson's been amazing. He's an all-star. He better be an all-star this year. He's one of the better guards. Forget point guards. He's one of the better guards in the NBA, not just in the Eastern Conference, in the NBA. He's playing tremendous basketball and all that. And they're just a solid team. I know we're constantly going to hear, what are the Knicks going to do to get that guy, get the guy? I don't know if that guy even exists right now in this world. I know there was talks about Karl Anthony Towns, but I don't know if you know, but the Minnesota Timberwolves are hooping. They're hooping 15-4 basketball. They are absolutely hooping, and I wouldn't want to change that at all. So, yeah, Worldwide Knicks, shout out for watching the show. Yeah, don't change that lineup if you're the Knicks. Don't change it. Why? Just because Quentin Grimes is struggling, we still need him to defend and all that. So why change it? I like it. Just keep it how it's going. Keep it how it's going. It's working. It's working right now. We're playing good basketball with this lineup. Don't do it just because one guy in the lineup is struggling. So I agree with Worldwide Knicks. Don't change a lineup that is working. Exactly. 110%. Don't mess with it. Grimes is going to figure it out. He's going to figure it out too. So I wouldn't want to change that. Why change it? He's going to figure it out. So stay with him. Stay with that lineup. It's working. It's just a well-balanced. It's one of the more well-balanced lineups, in the league. So let's figure it out and all that. And, Hartenstein's been great. Everything's working right now. We were always going to hear trade rumors with the Knicks. The Knicks are always going to be there because of the assets, New York, all that. And you heard the DeMar DeRozan stuff and all that. I like DeMar. I wouldn't be opposed to getting DeMar because I don't think it's going to cost you much. And to get a guy who's a clutch player, I know people are going to bring up, oh, what about the playoffs and all that? But that's a whole different ball game and all that. But I wouldn't be opposed to it, to be honest. I know it may be redundant because we got a lot of guys like that, and he's not a perimeter shooter, but I wouldn't be crazy, especially if he can get you Alex Caruso too. If you could somehow get Alex Caruso from Chicago with that, I would not be opposed to that because Alex Caruso now, then you could have some some real filthy lineups. You had Caruso and all that. Caruso could shoot the 3 ball too. So I don't think it would affect so much of our space. I mean, the spacing is what it is, because we play so much ISO ball. I don't think it's gonna, but I want to be opposed to it. And it's a 1 year, it would be like a 1 year. He's a free agent after here. So you get that off the books. 48. I mean, we got 40 on the bench doing nothing. Might as well get a player that actually maybe potentially 2 players that can actually help us. And then that would be, I think that would be a good mentorship for RJ Barrett. I think that, learning from Demar, but what doesn't matter if it happens or not. I'm not, I think we're fine. Whether that big move is there, who knows? Who knows if that big trade's going to be there? But, I think this team's playing good, 3 in a row, and all that. They play good basketball, and, we're going to be battling. You want to be battling and all that. So, really excited. Really excited about this team. I think we could do some things. And, I had a projection, while I was on Knicks Fan Wild. Shout out to the Knicks Fan Wild. And, my guy Don Juan and all the Triple M out there doing some really good things with their show. I predicted 40, 46 wins and all that. I think they're on that pace still. I think they're on that pace. Last year, I was I usually tend to be a pessimistic fan, always thinking, but I like the way they're going right now. Unless they make something a really crazy move, which I just don't see that move. I don't know that player available, right now. I think they're fine, and I think they can do some stuff. I mean, the Bucks are a team that's still trying to figure things out, and all that. Philly, I think we could beat some of these teams, because so we'll see what happens and all that. As long as we don't play Miami, it seems like Miami always gets us, but good things happen in New York. Just be patient with quick grinds. He gonna figure it out. He gonna figure it out. But I want to talk about some of the downs now. The teams are on up. Teams on the downside. And I know this team, the Detroit Pistons. I knew they'd probably be one of the bottom teams, but I thought they'd be definitely in better shape, right? I think we all thought that you get Monty Williams, they have Cade healthy, you add Thompson in the draft, they got some pieces, they got some good pieces and all that. 17 losses in a row. 17, man. That's not good. I didn't expect them to be this bad. It's embarrassing, quite frank. I mean, and watching the Knicks game, and maybe they should have got us, but bad teams figure out ways to lose, and they figured out a way to lose a game. Cade doesn't have a lot around him, especially shooting wise and all that. Just not a lot there. It's unfortunate. His usage rate is really high. Has the ball in the hand a lot. I just don't know how. Why is this going so bad for Detroit? At one point, I remember people were doing preseason, and we're talking about which young core would you want? Thunder, Orlando, and Detroit. Those 3 teams, which young core would you want? And some people I saw said Detroit, and I wouldn't have been opposed to that. But it's been bad. It's been bad. And I know, obviously, like the Spurs have lost 14 in a row too, but I think we kind of figured that, because they don't have a point guard. Yeah, kind of maybe not to that extent, but we've kind of figured that they would go through their ups and downs. Even though some people thought the Spurs might be a sneaky playoff team, and that's clearly not going to be the case too. But for the Detroit, it's bad. Their offense is just an absolute mess. Obviously, Bogey being hurt for most of the year. That's been tough. But it just seems like there's no identity. It just seems like, why is the whole Jaden Ivey stuff is kind of weird. Like sometimes he's the 9th guy. It's just a weird situation. And I could be wrong, but I heard, I remember hearing that Monty wasn't crazy about this job, but they just threw the bag at him, and I can't blame him, man. If they're gonna make you the highest paid coach in the league, even if you don't want that job, I'm gonna have to take it. But it seems like it definitely feels like that. Yeah, it may not be a good fit at all, Monty. I feel like Monty was more of a coach that was probably primed for a team that's that was like coming outside the playoffs and all that, like, and then make that next step to make them a playoff team. I think Detroit is maybe that was a job for someone like a top assistant who hasn't been a head coach. Maybe that was a job because then there's not expectations. You get Monty Williams, this is a coach that, coached in the NBA finals. This is a championship level coach. And I get Detroit wanted to be better. And it just seems like it might not have been the ideal fit. So tough times, tough times in Detroit right now. I feel for them. I got a lot of Detroit Pistons fan, the Detroit Pistons, media guys that I follow that I respect. And it's got to be tough, covering this team or even the fan base, because it's tough, but they're definitely struggling and they're not playing good basketball right now. And, we might have to start that free Cade petition. We got to start that, and the Ivy, it's just a lot of weird stuff going on in Detroit because they got some good young pieces and all that, but it definitely seems like, they swung and missed on Wiseman, trading for Wiseman, a lot of guys, obviously Bagley's there and he shows flashes, but it's just, I don't know. It's rough. It's rough in Detroit right now. And, I got to pull up their schedule quick because I got to see where wins are coming. I mean, they're playing Memphis there. So that might be it. It might be it. Memphis. That's their next game, in I think Wednesday. The streak's going to end. It has to end there, against Memphis. Is at home. Hey, if you can't beat Memphis, man, good luck. But I'm not saying this is going to happen, but Miami might be one and done in Detroit. If they're that bad, because they shouldn't be this bad. I mean, yeah, if you told me they were 7-14, like the Bulls, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. But I don't think people would be like, getting on them that bad. 2-18, yeah, that's bad. That's real bad. That's bad. So it's tough times out there. And the Wizards, we don't have to talk. We knew the Wizards were going to be bad, like bad. We knew they were going to be bad. That they're food on defense too. But let's go out west. Let's go out west and talk about some of the teams. If I would have told you the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Oklahoma City Thunder would be the top 2 seeds right now west at any point, I know those are teams that could potentially, be playoff teams, maybe. But if I told you to be top 2 and the Timberwolves would be 15-4, you'd be crazy. You'd be saying, "Oh, crazy." And that's the case. That is the case. The Minnesota Timberwolves are playing absolutely tremendous basketball, and it's not just. We all know what they have offensively. They got 2 guys who can absolutely score. Right, currently Towns one of the best big man scorers in the business, and then obviously they got Michael Jordan playing shooting guard. They just happen to call him Anthony Edwards, but Anthony Edwards is a bad man. He's special. I think the special word gets thrown out probably too much. It's way too much. We're calling some guys who are just role players. No. Anthony Edwards is special. That he is a special basketball player, and that's a big reason why they're at what they're at. He is going to he's going to be probably an all-star starter, all NBA type player. And if they do go far, it's going to be off the back of it, on his shoulders. Rudy is playing good. He's doing what the typical Rudy stuff. Jaden McDaniels is playing good. Like they're, Naz Reid, they brought him back on and I thought he would, I thought he could make any team, I thought teams were coveting him and all that. And he's definitely been very good this season for them. They're just playing good ball. They're playing good ball. It starts on the defensive side of the ball and all that. Even Mike Conley is hooping even at his old age and all that. He's giving them solid minutes, playing, effective and all. I think he's like 13-7 right now. Some people may have thought he was done, but he's doing his thing, the Keel Alexander Walker has played good off the bench and all that, even some spot minutes as a starter. Kyle Anderson, slow-mo, he does what slow-mo does and all that. Shake's been good. Shake's always good, man. I always like Shake Milton. I always liked him. Everywhere he goes, he just seems like he fits in and all that. But they're just playing good ball right now, and it starts on the defensive side of the ball. Everybody's taking accountability. Even Towns looks better as a defensive player and all that. It's good. It's good. They got a good nucleus there and all that. And they're gonna do some good things, but it starts with Ant-Man. He's 26 a game, just doing, just special. He's a special talent and all that. And good big reason why they're playing. And they re-signed Jaden McDaniels this offseason and all that. And he's played good ball too, so they got a good core going on there. Then we go to Oklahoma City. And all, and I don't know if you guys saw the game last night, but that was one of the more wilder games. I saw it this morning. I fell out early yesterday. 8:00. It felt like 8:30. Watching some college football. I was out, but got to catch up on a lot of games this morning. And I saw that 30-0 run, and I'm like, oh, that means Dallas won. No, OKC wins the game. So got to give credit for that, because when something like that happens, a 30-0 run on the road, that can, especially for a young team. This is still a young team. That the team could fold and then they lose by, it looked like they might have lost. We're going to lose by 5, 6, 7 points, double digits maybe. Because Luka and them were storming back, but they were able to let that go and not let that affect them, and came back strong and finished, finished the game, and then wound up getting the win. So, they're just fun to watch, man. They're just a really fun team to watch. And I just think Shea is, I think him making all NBA last year, he always had that, but I think some people were like, okay, he's all NBA, but we got to see it. We got to see it in the big time. Got to see it in the big games. He has to get to the playoffs. I know a lot of people crown him saying he's better than this guy, better than that guy. But it was like, we got to see it in the playoffs. And I agree. And I love Shea. I was big on Shea when he coming out of Kentucky. I still go on a limb and say he should have been a New York Knick. That's the wrong Kentucky guy. I was clamoring for SGA that year, but he might be all NBA first team again, an all-star, and in the playoffs, man. I mean, that's where obviously stars become superstars. It might be that year for him, because he's absolutely been spectacular on both sides of the ball. I think he leads the league in steals a game, if I'm wrong. 30 a game and all that, 6 and 6 essentially. So I mean, you got a guy who's 36 and 6, leading the league in steals, shooting efficient from the field and all that. Chet has, in his first year, I'm not considering him a rookie. I know he technically he's a rookie. He's not a rookie. This is his first year playing in the first games in the NBA, but he's looked good. I think he's what, top 5 in shot blocks per game and all that. So he's showed, we know what he can do on that side of the ball. Would he be able to withstand the contact, if an NBA and the grind and all that. And I think he is. I remember saying this with Chet when he was coming out of Gonzaga. He's a lot tougher than what he looks, because there were some games I saw. I'm like, he's banging with guys. Pause. He's banging with guys, but he's not afraid. He's a lot stronger. I think we just see because he's 7'2" when he's scrawny, but he's a lot stronger, and it definitely seems like he's added strength and all that. And that's going to be, he's just going to get stronger and all that. But he's been durable so far. So, and that's the key for this team is his durability, because Shea's had some injury histories, and obviously they got Chet with some injury. That's going to be something. But Jalen Williams, just solid. 18 a game, being efficient, shooting like 50% from the field, just efficient and all that. Lou Dort's going to do Lou Dort things. He's just going to be that rugged player that they need and all that. Isaiah Joe is had a nice spark for them too. Um, I liked him a lot coming out of Arkansas and all that, and he finally feels like he fits here with this team and all that. So, but just good. I know, you know, Kason has been good, has showed flashes this year as a rookie, and I think he's just going to get progressively better and all that. Obviously, they got the whole stuff with Josh Giddey. Won't get into that stuff, but you know, um, we'll see what happens with that and all that. But they got some good pieces and all that. They're in a good spot. So playing good ball right now. Let's see if they can continue to build off that. You know, but the West has kind of been. Oh, I mean, we talk about the Clippers, and it's been a struggle since Harden. Now they have looked a lot better. Especially in these last few games and all that. Definitely looked a lot better. But this is going a lot of these. If we're looking at the bottom, these playing teams. I mean, the Lakers, Pelicans, Clippers, Rocket. I mean, Golden State's not even in a play-in right now. So the Warrior situation is going to be very intriguing. We're going to talk since we're there. We'll talk about some teams that are down. The Warriors, obviously they're just in a situation where the roster is just, they capped out. They 2 years ago on the chip, that was, I think they hit it off. Like that was it. They did the most with it can with that roster, and Wiggins was playing at an unreal level, but he's been pretty bad for the most part, this season. Like it's, and Clay has not been good. Clay it's just it's weird seeing him strong shooting 40% from the field. Still solid at 36% for three, but he's struggling overall, and he just doesn't look like the same Clay on either end of the ball, either side of the ball. And that just makes Steph's job a lot harder and all that. Wiggins just been very pedestrian. He's been very pedestrian, this season, 11, 12 points a game, I think, 40% from the field. That's just not good. Draymond just being a loose cannon, and he's not the same player he was, all that. And, his minutes have been reduced, and, that was a priority to them to re-sign him and all that. And, I don't know. There's just Kuminga, because his minutes are so up and down, and just like he doesn't know. There's times where Kuminga looks like an all-star, and I've labeled him a potential all-star player. I don't think it's going to happen here, though. I just don't think this is a good fit for him. I like Moses Moody, but it just feels like they don't know, like the roster construction, is just all over the place, and they don't know what to do, because, Clay's still playing 30 minutes a game. He shouldn't be, but he's still playing 30 minutes a game, and Moody should be playing more minutes, and Kuminga should be playing more minutes. But this is not going to happen because they still have, and they invested, they re-signed Wiggins, 2 years ago, and they re-signed Draymond, and Clay's on expiring. Like, I thought 2 years ago it was over. I was wrong. It's over. It's over. It's over for the Warriors. Now they just got to figure out how do they deal with a guy who's helped win them four championships. How do they handle Klay Thompson? Because he's going to want a max. He's not a max player no more. How do you handle that? And how does that help? How does that help the morale or make it worse? If you entertain trade ideas for Klay. Interesting times in Warriors. We only got a few minutes left, but like I said, I'm going to be starting doing this every Sunday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern. So excited to do this. Just going to be talking and all that. Make sure to check out Off the Ball Net, OTBN Network on Twitter. Make sure you follow us on Facebook. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Appreciate everyone who's tapped in today, but all that. Just going to have a few more minutes before we start doing our, getting ready for the college football show. But yeah, the Warriors are in trouble and all that. It's just the play-in tournament. I think I was down. Not that I was down on it. I just didn't understand if the play. And sometimes I don't know why I don't know why I think as a player. And I should have thought. I don't know. I keep thinking about the players, and I'm like, why do I keep caring about what the players feel about this? Sometimes, I try to think too much as a player. even though I'm not a player, but it's been a success. Like I'm going to watch these games regardless, right? I think as a lot of us who I interact with on Twitter or Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whoever, we're going to watch basketball regardless, right? If you're a hoop you're a hoop You're going to watch this whether, like Hornets, Knicks, you're watching regardless, right? If you're a Knicks fan, you're watching that game regardless of what the stakes are. LaMelo's playing, whoever. But this tournament, it's got a little intrigue now. Like the Knicks are in it, and I think, yeah. Will the Knicks get clowned if they win this tournament? Yes, we're going to get clowned and all that if we win it. Oh, the Knicks finally win a championship and all that. But I think it adds a little bit more. I think the players are getting a little juiced up, potentially go to Vegas and, try to win champ. And I think, for the Knicks, opportunity to beat the Bucks, and maybe it doesn't matter if they win, but maybe if they have to meet up with the Bucks in the first round or in the second round, maybe that gives them that extra. So I think the play-in has been. I think they have to figure out more of an incentive for these going forward, whether it's something, a bigger pot. I heard guaranteed playoff spot. I don't know about that, because there's going to be a time where we're going to get a bad team that gets in it. They win their group, and they're guaranteed, and then the season goes up in flames. And shout out to Mo Murphy. And now a 50-loss team's in the playoffs, and then a 48-win team gets bounced. That's why I want to avoid, because then we can get into a whole, but some type of other incentive. But we'll see that. But I think it's been a success. And I didn't have. Like I said, I was thinking more for the players of what's their incentive to play. But I thought, hey, the play-in tournament was something that they tried, and it's been a success. I think, and I was all for that too. And why not try it? Because if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You scrap it and whatever. But maybe add some extra incentives and all that, to make it even that much better. But I think it's good, and I think maybe like I said, having people watch the game, especially when you're in the mid of football season, college and NFL, people are locked in and all that. We'll see, but it's been I think it's been a success, and like I said, some tweaks need to be done, but overall, I think it was worth the shot. And I think, you just got. I think there's some confusion probably with the fans and even the players. I mean, some of the players don't understand, like, how do you advance and the point differential stuff. I think you got to probably get rid of the point differential stuff. That's a little bit, but teams still playing their guys late in games and trying to pump it up was low-key fun. But I don't know if the players are going to be liking guys jacking up 3-pointers when they're down 30 and all, even though you should, stop them if that's the case. But, you want to avoid confrontations and all that like we had the other night. But, I think overall it's been good and all that. And I think I think it's been fun seeing the younger stars, grow and all that. And, it's going to be fun and all that to see these teams, these younger players and all that. So I'm going to be diving into more NBA draft stuff too and all that. Next show, I'll talk about some prospects I like and all that too, and all that. And hopefully have some guys join the show on the network and some other guys and all that. But that's going to wrap it up for this week's show. Make sure, like I said, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you go to offtheballnetwork.com. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Follow me, Off the Ball Pod. Like I said, got some cool projects coming up, so stay tuned. Be safe, be well, take care. Peace out.